Alright, so what the hell did I just play? I went into Karting4Fun expecting a goofy little kart racer. Something cheap, simple, maybe even a hidden gem. Instead I got AI drivers, spawning out of thin air, karts coming at me going the wrong direction, and a UI that feels like it was designed during a power outage. And yet somehow in the middle of all this chaos, there are moments where the game actually feels fun. So today we're diving headfirst into the early access madness that is Karting4Fun. The good, the bad, and the downright unbelievable. If you've ever wondered what happens when a kart racer forgets to follow the laws of reality, well, you're about to find out. Let's get into it.
What?
So what is Karting4Fun? At a basic level, it's a simple kart-style racing game that focuses more on bumping and shoving than weapons or items. Think of it like a lightweight arcade racer where contact is part of the experience. At least, that's the idea, anyway. The game currently features a single-player mode against AI, time attacks, local split screen, a few different tracks each with optional obstacles, and lighting conditions like day, overcast, and night. On paper, that's not a bad foundation for a relatively cheap, fun arcade kart racer. The problem is the execution, and that's what we're going to talk about. Now before we begin, I just want to say a massive thanks to the team for the review copy of the game, and just to bear in mind that this is still in early access. So let's start with the main thing that you probably want to know. How does the driving actually feel? Surprisingly, not terrible. In fact, this is one part of the game where I see a big spark of potential. The karts have decent weight to them, they respond predictably to steering, and the physics, most of the time, feel grounded enough to enjoy. Handling is tight, braking feels effective, and if you're just casually cruising through a track with no interruptions, you can almost forget how unfinished the rest of the game is. But the key word there is almost. Because the moment AI enters the picture, or a glitch happens, or controller support decides to take a vacation, that smooth driving experience crashes directly into a wall. Now let's talk about the part that truly breaks the game right now. The AI. Now, I played the demo, I played the early access release, and to be brutally honest, it feels like nothing's changed. Even on the highest difficulty, there's rarely a sense of competition. The AI doesn't really race, it just kind of occupies the track. Its main defensive maneuver is just swerving left and right, like it's trying to shake off a tail in a spy movie, or it's being swarmed by bees. But that's not the worst part, because sometimes the AI just says, you know what, f*** it, I'm done with this track, and then proceeds to drive the wrong way, backwards, into oncoming traffic in a f***ing kart race. This isn't a rare glitch, it happened multiple times, and every time it completely kills the flow of the race. Suddenly you're mid-turn and an AI driver is coming directly at you like a confused bowling ball. But believe it or not, it gets even stranger, because I had several races where AI racers would literally spawn in front of me mid-race. Not respawn, spawn. And of course, like more polished racing games, if a racer respawns in front of you, they go transparent, you can drive through. But no, that doesn't happen here. That means instant collision, forced braking, or loss of control. I mean, hell, even at the start of the races, you can see some of the racers spawn in facing the wrong direction. Not completely backwards, but certainly at an angle they shouldn't be facing. So if fairness matters to you, or if you want to feel like your racing skill matters, well, that, my friend, is going to be a problem. One of the biggest surprises for me, and believe it or not in a good way, was the controller support. In 2025, releasing a racing game with poor controller support is almost unthinkable. A crime, if you will. It's like releasing a cooking game where the stove doesn't work. Yes, the game technically accepts controllers, but the keyword is technically. Menus barely register inputs, steering is inconsistent, and trying to navigate UI with a controller feels like playing Operation Blindfolded. It's so hard to tell where your cursor is when you're navigating with a controller. The game is far more playable on a keyboard, which, I mean, come on. A kart racer that's best played on keyboard? That's really not what people expect, and it seriously limits anyone hoping to play split screen or couch co-op, which is supposed to be one of the game's selling points, might I remind you. So let's shift gears and talk presentation. The visuals, the tracks, UI, so on. This is where Karting4Fun really starts to feel like an unfinished student project. Karting for pain is probably the better way to word it. The tracks are visually bland. There's no real personality, no memorable landmarks, nothing that really gives any of the tracks their own identity. If you were to show me 3 screenshots from 3 different tracks, I'm honestly not sure I could tell you which is which. And then there's the UI. This is one of the most unintuitive interfaces I've seen in a racing game in a long time. Maybe in any indie game this year. Buttons are in weird places, certain menus don't respond the way you'd expect, and the lack of a standard layout makes basic navigation feel like detective work. The game also doesn't let you pause properly in races. There's not a deal breaker, but in a modern racer it's just a bit of a surprising omission is all. Now look, I'm not here to bury this game with negativity. I genuinely believe the developers want to make something fun, and there are glimmers of potential. When the physics are behaving, the driving does feel good. Obstacles can add chaos in a fun way, and when you get a good lap, you get that sense that you're flying and you're doing really well. But the problem is there's just not enough of that there at the moment. The local multiplayer, despite controller issues, has the potential to be entertaining with friends who don't take it seriously. There is a fun game buried somewhere underneath all the problems. And if the developers take early access seriously and tackle AI, glitches, controller support, there's a chance this game could eventually become something worth revisiting. So what about the value? Karting4Fun is not expensive, it's priced fairly low and you can pick it up for about £12. So there's not bad value here. But even at a low price point, a game still needs to deliver a coherent experience. Right now, Karting4Fun feels like more of a prototype than a product. Yes, it's early access and that means bugs and missing features are expected, but there's a difference between early access and just complete mess. If you're looking for a polished karting experience, this is absolutely not it. If you're looking for something to enjoy with kids or friends casually, the glitches and AI issues may ruin that too. But hey, if you like seeing broken games, it is kind of entertaining to see them driving towards you or spinning around in circles. So the question is, should you buy Karting4Fun right now? Honestly, no, not yet. I cannot recommend this game in its current state. The AI is a mess, the controller support isn't great, the tracks lack polish, and the game just feels a bit rushed. But here's the hopeful part. I want this game to improve. I like the premise, and I see the spark of fun that could grow into a real kart racer with enough development time. If the developers commit to updates, especially AI and controller fixes, then I'll definitely revisit it and give you an updated review that might be a little less cynical and harsh. But that's my early access review of Karting4Fun. If you've played it yourself, let me know your experience in the comments. Did you run into the same weird AI behaviour? Because if that only happened to me, then I'll be very upset. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe and tap that bell for notifications so you can stay up to date with my future uploads. A massive shout out to my Patreon subscribers for the continued support, and all I really have left to say is goodbye.